authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Atlantic City to support the tourism district public safety pilot plan for a 1-year period beginning April 1, 2025 and March 31, 2026.
Thank you, Lisa. Any recusals?
I have to recuse from the rule. I can't make, I'm recused. Oh,
All right, Eric, the floor is yours.
Welcome, community. Good afternoon, board. We have a full board meeting here. It's nice to see everyone's face in one place. Of course, thank you, Chairman. So the summary of request is approval of fund reservation amount of not to exceed $3 million. Authorization for myself to negotiate and execute an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Atlantic City to support the Tourist District Policing Pilot Plan for 1-year period beginning April 1st, 2025 through March 31st, 2026. The fund reservation amount would not exceed $3 million. The source of funding is the Tourist District Community Development Fund. A little background. Casino Reinvestment Development Authority and Atlantic City Police Department have collectively identified a pressing need for the increased police presence in the tourist district. The district has suffered from diminished economic growth, investment, concerns over public safety, and a lack of clean and safe appearance, adversely affecting the reputation among visitors, merchants, residents, and casinos. To address this critical need, the Tourist District Policing Pilot Plan was launched by ACPD utilizing city funds in May of 2024, making the first ever initiative of its kind in the City of Atlantic City Tourist District. This innovative plan was established through a strategic partnership between the CRDA and ACPD, creating a dedicated tourist district policing model with coordinated efforts and deployment. The total project cost for this expanded project is approximately $9 million. This amount would allow the deployment of a full complement of police officers needed to effectively address all public safety issues within the tourist district. The City of Atlantic City will contribute approximately $6 million and request $3 million in funding from the CRDA. This would allow the unit to operate at ideal levels for a period of 1 year, giving the city additional time to evaluate the program's impact and secure sustainable funding for this invaluable initiative. Under this intergovernmental agreement, the CRDA funding would be distributed as a reimbursement, ensuring that the CRDA maintains financial oversight and operational input in the program's implementation. The intergovernmental agreement is for 1 year only, and the additional purpose of building on the success of last year's deployment. This is an expanded project that would include leasing of Atlantic Avenue, Renaissance Plaza, and Tanger Outlets. All critical areas concerned with the tourist district that require enhanced public safety measures. The recommendations are approve a fund reservation in the amount not to exceed $3 million, authorize myself to negotiate and execute an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Atlantic City to support this tourism public safety pilot plan for 1 year period beginning at April 1st, 2025 through March 31st, 2026. Any questions from the board?
Thank you, Eric. And before the mayor has his comment, I want to say that when Eric was hired, one of the most, and it still is one of the most critical issues facing the city is obviously public safety. And one of the reasons why he was hired is because he's a public safety expert. And Eric hit the ground running from day one. Actually, he went faster than he should have gone. But hit the ground running with designing a plan to meet the urgent need of public safety within the city. And over, I don't know how many months it's been now, 6, 7, 8 months.
11.
11 months, wow. Double that, 11 months. He's talked to every constituency, from the ACPT to the mayor's office, to the governor's office, to this body, because this body had a lot to say about the approach. And I believe what he's presenting today is well thought out, and I think it meets the needs of the city writ large, but also obviously the tourism district. So I wholeheartedly and enthusiastically support this initiative. Thank you. Up to the board members.
And I would like to say, well, I want to count on Chapin for that. Assuming that the board approves it, this would be another great day here in the city of Atlantic City. We saw the police presence increase on the boardwalk in a similar fashion And I said, when I became mayor of Atlantic City, we got to take the whole city into effect. And I made those concerns known in our meetings with Scheffler, how important, yes, the tourism district, you think of the boardwalk, but it also encompasses Pacific, Atlantic, and all the troubled areas such as the Renaissance Plaza and more that, we've been complaining about. This is not a new story. I've spoken about this since my days as a councilman of the condition of Atlantic Avenue. And with this grant, not only are we going to see a major difference, it could be a total game changer because all of those areas that, the homeless and other people hang out in will be policed around the clock. And this is big for the city of Atlantic City. This is a true partnership between the agencies. And I see our fine chief there. This is something that we've discussed many times over, but help is on the way. In addition to this, when the 10 officers that are assigned to the schools, when school is over, they will go and join this unit on Pacific and Atlantic Avenue as well to give us the coverage that we need. So soon and very soon, we're going to see a major change on Atlantic Avenue. And I would urge all of my colleagues to support it.
It's how important it is. We have the mayor, and we have the chief here.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, just a couple questions. So
Yes,
after
sir.
this year, this period's over, I'm looking at the mayor and Mr. Brown as well, because I know DCA had played a role in this. So after this, it's 12 months, correct?
Yes, sir.
What happens after that? It's going to be reassessed, or you're going to have
There'll
statistics?
be assessment done during the entire process. ACPD has a method of calculating everything that they do and all their interactions. And it actually goes a little bit further outside of just policing, but perception. They do a bunch of different surveys at the beginning of the season, at the end of the season, both with visitors and residents and merchants. So we'll have some really good data by next year. But over the next 12 months, speaking with DCA and the city, they're looking into how to create sustainability around this fund.
And then, are there new officers being hired for
No.
this? So your existing force, chief?
Correct. Yes, on overtime.
Okay. So after the first year, hopefully the state or the city would step in to pick up the remainder of this cost because
I can tell you they're in the process now of doing the evaluation. I think the chief would agree of finding out what the precise number of officers is necessary so that you don't have to do the overtime. Because there has to be an analysis done. Do we hire full-time officers, which wind up costing less than paying the officers overtime? But until that analysis is done, every summer that we miss out on having officers on that boardwalk, is the summer we miss out having officers on the boardwalk. So that is why, with the leadership of Eric and the chief and chairman, you see this project moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's a follow-up question to what Mr. Brown mentioned on some of the staffing issues during shoulder months, right? What staff issues look like in February and March versus what May through September.
Yeah, so there's you got a packet, one in your attachment. You'll see the deployment plan that conceptually increases the manpower in what we call the peak season, which is May to September, and then decreases almost about 50% during the other months, but still has a presence on the boardwalk, on Pacific Avenue, and as the mayor mentioned, Atlantic and Renaissance Plaza and Tanger Ave.
And on the metrics you mentioned, are they being communicated to the state police and the attorney general's office on those numbers, on reduction of crime or reports?
Well, they have to be, because they have a reporting process.
Right.
So that's automatically done.
Control the measurables in there, so
Yeah.
we can make the justification, as Mike Beasley mentioned, about coming back next year. At the end of this point, we want to see what the results are.
100%.
The hours, the time, and if there is reduction.
I'm sure,
And also off Atlantic.
And also, what's important to know, not only the business owners, the visitors, everyone raved about the police that they saw on the boardwalk. So I can only imagine if the boardwalk is an indicator of what's going to happen with those areas, Pacific Avenue, Atlantic Avenue, and more. And let me just say this, it's always cheap to throw out the term clean and safe. We don't govern on feelings and emotions in Atlantic City. We govern on the facts and data. And the facts are, whether people want to believe it or not, the city's clean. We work in tandem with the CRDA Special Improvement District. The stats of the crime clearly shows that crime was down 8.6%. There was a decrease in calls, 16%. And we are investing heavily, not only in human capital for the police department, but the technology as well, which is extremely important. So we're giving the police department all the necessary tools to succeed. We even just hired a public safety director, and we're going to continue, because as I said, if this was this time last year, we would all be talking about what we talked about this time last year. And that was the first 5 weeks of the year, we had 5 murders, and the sky was falling. Leadership didn't point the fingers at anyone. We said we got work to do, and we finished the year with 2 or 3 more murders, still 2 or 3 more too many, but we're off to a great start, knock on wood. Things are going to happen, but, and sometimes no matter how many police officers you have, let's be real, crime is going to happen. We're embarking on a citywide camera project that this administration has invested $5.8 million, not only on the streets, but the tourism district as well, the outdated cameras on the boardwalk, all of our detection systems, such as the gun detector we showed at the State of the City. Like, these things are real, and Atlantic City is safe and will continue to be safe.
Any other comments from?
Sorry, one follow-up question about the $3 million. From the $3 million from CRDA, which part of our revenue stream comes from?
It comes from the Tourist District Community Development Fund.
And the other thing I could add, if it's okay with the director.
Sure, please.
I know that the greeter is going to be keeping a very close watch, and the chief is going to be submitting the officers, the location, the time they're there. And if for some reason people don't show up because they can't, they won't get paid. So in the past, sometimes things weren't always as tightly monitored as perhaps they could be, to ensure that these officers are actually where the CRDA and the investment is paying for them to be. But with Director Scheffler, he's going to make doubly sure that people are where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be, as he did last year, working with Chief Sarkis to make sure people felt the presence.
We have Assistant Director of SID, James Sharkey, which most of you have heard from or know, who's a retired chief who works for us, who will be working closely with ACPD on its operations and understanding what's going on and being out there to monitor as well.